This is my Juki DDL 8700. This is a standard lock stitch industrial sewing machine, mostly used in production settings for light to medium duty fabric, which is usually what I use it for. Sometimes I go a little bit heavier. And I just wanted to do a general sewing machine setup tour for production sewing. So there's going to be a couple things that I want to point out on my machine that really help me keep things quick, make it easy, and just kind of deal with the fuss of sitting and sewing all day. So let's get into that. Let's start off with my table. So this is just a quick custom table I made for it. Gives me a little bit more room. It's bamboo and some pieces of, I don't know, I think 1x3s. Pretty simple. Just gives me a little bit more room to work with some of the larger pieces I use. It does have casters at the bottom here, just so I can roll it around a little bit better, even though this is a pretty stationary machine. Okay, let's look at my shitty drawer here. I just have some extra snippers, some lubrication, and some extra thread back there. We have this little shelf here. I generally keep my, keep my pins here. Water-soluble pencil. This thing is great. These are Clover. You can find them on Wallwack and probably Amazon, other sites like that. And I go through these quite a bit. I have a pencil sharpener here, and I use these on as much as I can. I do have a couple other varieties of water-soluble pens and markers, but that seems to be my favorite at the moment. Some Post-it notes and some sewing clips. All this stuff kind of moves around a little bit, so. Okay, now sitting down at the machine, we have my bobbin holder. So this is just a magnetic bobbin holder. I'll try to link this down below in the comments, just so, you know, if anybody wants to get any of this stuff, they can. Pretty self-explanatory. Holds, I don't know how many it holds, but probably about 10 to 15. I have another magnet here. So we have just some sewing clips. Pretty simple. And then I have my needles. So I typically use these needles on my machine. We got 7010s, 9014s, 116s, and 11018s. I have extra stock of these in a different area, but these are the ones that, you know, I can just grab pretty quickly if I need to switch them out when I'm changing materials or thread sizes. What else do we got going on here? I have some hand lotion. I've got some extra thread and computer duster. So this is for cleaning things off. Some decorations. Sitting down at the machine, we have got this guy. This is probably the number one, I don't know, hack I like to use magnets for as much as I can, and it's really easy just to pop my snippers up there. I have this jet lighter here, great for snipping threads, burning threads. And I epoxied a little magnet on it right here. It's kind of hard to tell, but that just pops on top of my machine there. This magnet right here I use to put pins on. So when I don't want to have my pin cushion kind of nearby, I can just pop them right up there. And when I'm done, bring it back over to the pin cushion. I have my magnet for my feet. I mostly use these 2 feet. Let me get this one off here. So one of these is just a standard Juki foot. This is the one that came on the machine. And then I also have this top stitch foot. So this goes in between the seam, and then you can top stitch on both sides. Pretty simple. Okay, I also have this seam guide. Pretty simple as well. Don't use it too often, but it is here if I need it. Okay, moving on. I have this magnet here for storing some tools. Pretty simple. Got 2 screwdrivers and my X-Acto knife. This is what I use to rip seams with. I have just gotten used to it. I've used X-Acto knives for a lot of things over the years, and I feel like I have a little bit more control and precision with a sharp X-Acto blade rather than a seam ripper. It's a little controversial, but that's just what I prefer. Okay, now we have got my wall of rulers. So I have a mix of metric and standard, but I mostly use these 2 standard. Clear grid rulers for quilting are amazing. I use them for everything at home, any kind of measurements I need to do. They're great for keeping things square, so I highly recommend these. You can actually get a pack of these BS Go-Go ones on Amazon for pretty cheap. Comes with a bunch of different sizes. So this is my metric one here, and I have some metal rulers as well and a square. Pretty simple. Okay, moving on again. We have the SailRite LSZ1. I don't use this super often, and I mostly use it for the zigzag function, but it is a walking foot, so you can get through a little bit thicker fabrics than these Juki 8700 DDLs. I have attached this little command hook thing right here just so I can keep the thread higher up, because I tend to have to pull on the thread on the first couple stitches so that it doesn't get bound up. And it's really hard to grab when it's just on the ground here. So when I'm doing a lot of sewing on this, I like to utilize this little command hook here to keep the thread up, easy to grab. Some more magnets, pretty straightforward. I also have this other Juki, same machine, same spec. I haven't used it too much yet, but we're probably going to be kind of setting one machine up for lighter duty and then one up for a little heavier duty stuff, just so I don't have to move things around too much, change the timing on the needle, all those good things. I have my thread wall here, pretty self-explanatory. Just have a bunch of threads stored here. Most of this is Tex 45. We have some Tex 70 and some 90, I think, as well. Mostly used on this machine. Yeah, I think that's gonna be about it. This is kind of my whole studio. So this has been my sewing machine setup tour. We've gone over just a couple of the different accessories that I use to keep production pretty quick back here. If anybody has any questions about my setup, different accessories, tips and tricks, things of that nature, I'll be doing more videos like this in the future, kind of going over my whole workspace. This is just my sewing machines right now, but I hope this helped some people kind of get an idea of what a production sewing setup should look like. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you and have a good day.